and gentlemen, Joe with Jonose Cigars, back for another cigar review. Tonight I'm going to be doing one that's gotten quite a bit of critical acclaim and consumer praise, and that is the CAO 660 Flathead. This is a pretty big cigar. 660 literally just means 6 inches by 60 ring gauge. It is a very firm box pressed with a very, very flat head, hence the name. The Flathead series has a wide variety of sizes. There's the steel horse, there's the camshaft, there's the spark plug, there's the even bigger one, there's a 770, even bigger than this. I've had the steel horse and I've had the 770. Wasn't super crazy about those two. I've had this one before and I've had kind of mixed feelings about it. I remember liking it a lot the first time, and I'm not so sure what I thought about it the second time, but probably not as great. This one ranks up there. It was the number 3 cigar of 2015, and that was the year the Le Bijou 1922 by my father's won the cigar of the year with a 97 rating. So really highly rated. It was the number 3 cigar in 2015. It looks really good, actually. It's got a very beautiful wrapper with visible seams that are very tightly bound. Semi-firm pack. Looks like a double cap. It's got a nice musty earth and barnyard aroma with a hint of dried fruit sweetness in the foot. This looks really good. I'm kind of looking forward to this one. A lot of people have reviewed this cigar before, and it's probably because it's so popular. So let's go ahead and get this one cut up, toasted up, and let's see what we can find out. Interesting first light. Notes of lots of pretty sweet dried fruit and a little bit of leather. It's a pretty firm draw at this point. Smoke output's okay. Hopefully it loosens up a little bit. I was warned that sometimes you might want to punch these cigars as opposed to cutting them. I did, of course, cut this one. I might have to touch a little bit up a little bit. That's kind of my fault. But the flavors are nice and solid. The smoke texture isn't what I would call oily, but still nice. A little bit of a black pepper finish. There's definitely some black pepper and dark toasted wood in the aroma. It's a nice aroma. Alright, we'll let this one heat up a little bit. Get a little bit further in, and we will see you then. About 10 minutes in, it was already starting to burn a little funky as we got into that first third, so I gave it a little bit of a burn correct, and the smoke output started to improve very nicely. Draw is still a little snug, but the flavors are very good. Lots of dried fruit, not overly sweet, but definitely very fruity. Getting lots of leather, not a whole lot of earth or wood at this point, but that fruit and leather is a nice combination. I really kind of enjoyed this. In the retrohale, it is a very full-bodied smoke, by the way, and the retrohale lets you know it. Lots of spicy, sweet, sort of almost molasses-like flavor there in the retrohale. That's kind of unique. Definitely not getting any wood characteristics through the retrohale yet. That might change as we get further in. Alright, I'm liking the flavors so far. I'm going to have to keep an eye on the construction and the burn, but so far I'm liking it. We'll see how it goes as we get into the midway point. We will see you then. About 25 minutes in, just starting to get into the second third. The burn is still a little bit slanted, but it's not terrible. The ash, however, is solid and strong. It is looking great. It's burning great. The draw is still a little bit snug for my taste, but the smoke output is plentiful. Lots of nice flavorful smoke. The dried ripe fruit, the dried fruit flavors are definitely coming through in full force now. It is still a full-bodied cigar. The spice isn't really there unless you retrohale, and then it's really there. Some nice dark rich leather in there as well. That dried fruit and dark leather really pairs nicely together, and then you get that nice molasses sweetness in the retrohale. Normally I give the specs in the first part of the review, and I forgot to do that, so I'll go ahead and give them to you now. This is a combination of Dominican and Nicaraguan long fillers with a Connecticut Habano seed binder, and then a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. Really becoming a fan of these Connecticut broadleaf wrappers. They tend to be very flavorful, and this one is no exception. Yeah, I don't remember even liking it this much the first time I tried it, when I liked it the most, I think. I think this is the 4th time I've had one of these Flatheads, and I'm enjoying this one more than I ever have the other 3, and it might just be because I'm actually sitting down and trying to really concentrate on the flavors and the experience, and it's pretty good. I'm really amazed by this ash. It is holding on very well. It doesn't look like it's having any signs of faltering yet. So I'm going to let this one go just as long as possible before I ash it, because it just looks so impressive. Alright, I'll let this go into the second third, find out if anything changes in the flavor department, and I will see you then. About 40 minutes in. Flavors have gone through a little bit of a dynamic change. A little bit of kind of bold, sweet nuttiness coming through, almost like a pecan. And mixed with that molasses, it's kind of reminiscent of a pecan pie. Kind of cool. The spice, very much like in the first part of the cigar, is really only present when you do a retrohale. It comes in full force on the retrohale, but then subsides pretty quickly. And then you start tasting again that sweet, dried fruit and that rich leather. The aroma is just one of a very pleasant, deep, rich tobacco aroma. Very nice. Smoke output is still great. Smoke temperature is still nice and cool. And the draw has opened up a little bit. It's a little bit more effortless to get the smoke through. But like I said, even when the smoke, or when the draw was tighter, the smoke output was still very abundant and not much issue getting smoke out of it. Alright, getting close to the final third here. We'll see what happens in the last part. We will see you then. About 60 minutes in now. Starting into the final third. It's been a nice, even smoke burn. And the ash, the second time, has just fallen off in a nice, solid chunk, about 1.5 inches long. Flavors have changed a little bit now. A lot more airy smoke. The dried fruit is more or less subsided. It's a lot of sweet nuttiness and a little bit of toasted wood. It's kind of nice. The final third, strength is still full-bodied, and I think I'm ready to give this a score. This has been a very impressive smoke, especially considering the price. I've seen these as low as $7 before retail, and online you can get them for that, probably in bundles for that price. Right now they retail for about $8 to $8.50 per stick, which is a pretty good price for a 95 rated cigar. The Jonose score, I give this a solid 4 puffs. It is definitely a very solid full-bodied smoke. Lots of good flavors in there. Really good smoke output. I've enjoyed it from start to finish, with the exception of that one burn correct that I had to address early on. And the snug draw, I wish it was a little looser, but beyond that, there's not a lot to complain about with this stick. I'm kind of surprised that this is rated as a 95. Anytime a cigar gets above 90, it's supposed to be an incredible smoke. I mean, this beat out Arturo Fuente's Don Carlos Bellicoso and a Padron 50 anniversary, the year that it won the number 3 spot on Cigar Aficionado's list. I'm not so sure that it's better than those 2 cigars, but it's still pretty good. Maybe a little overrated, but definitely a great performer. And when considering the price, it's kind of hard to argue when people love it this much. I really do like this one a lot, and it's probably going to be a mainstay in my humidor. I've still got a bunch still down in my humidor, and I'll probably rebuy these again when I run out. Thanks again for joining me for another Jonose Cigar. As always, please like and subscribe. I want as many people as possible to join the Jonose family. And until next time, everybody, have a good one.